Hey everyone, Joe here. Welcome back to another episode of Life with Marianne and Joe. And in today's episode, I'm going to be taking plants out of storage for the winter and putting them out and see what the story is with them. Everyone, so we're having a great day today here in New Jersey. It's going to be 84 degrees and it's already 81 and it's humid today, so it's an oddity for April 29th, but we're going to take advantage of it. I'm going to take the plants out of where I keep them for winter storage because they're starting to look really upset that they're still inside. You know, some of them are getting stalky, some of them are not, you know, they're just like not happy. So I'm going to take them out and we're going to take a look at them together and see how I'm going to clean them up, and we'll track them through the season to see how they do. Okay, everybody, so stay tuned for that. Here's my Cana lily. You can see I have to cut all of this stuff off, but they are starting to grow in here, and I'm going to put them in pots back here in the yard. All right, so I put the Cana lily in. You see some of them are sprouting, some of them are not yet, but you know, now that they're out, they should take off. See, like these here and stuff. So put them in, and I watered them in, and hopefully they'll be popping up soon. They're a little bit behind it from what they were last year. They grew a little bit more in the shop, but maybe I had them in a darker spot. So anyway, they should do okay. All right, so next I took out this large urn, and you can see this is a Dracaena spike. Yeah, one of those spikes that, you know, when you do your thriller, filler, and spiller, this is the thriller. But look how absolutely gigantic it's getting. I think this is 3 years old. I have to take off all of these brown areas in here. This is actually Diplodenia, and you can see because it was in a you know, very cut down area of where the sun was coming in. You can see the you know, they're white, they're stringy, they're elongated, but they're alive, which is good. So I'm just going to cut them back, and hopefully they will pop back. Now I'm thinking that this might be the last year for this because it's too big. You know, it just gets too big and too crazy. But I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to put it over there by the irises. I removed all of the dead spiky leaves from here, and then I severely cut back this is Diplodenia, so I severely cut it back. I'm going to take this piece off as well. I don't want it, you know, to be stressed. I want it to go back into the roots and push out new hardy growth. So I cut all 3 of those. Now what I did was I also left my marigold plants in there over the winter. So you can see here's some of the seeds right here, and I'm hoping that they're going to pop up now that they're out in the light. And I just have to put it over in its place. Here it is in its spot. And you can see I just made a pad down there with those are those little square pavers from Home Depot. I just used 6 of them there, and it made it a nice pad. I have the mulch under there to level them out, and you can see it's going to be here, and it looks really nice because it gives presence to this area because it's really tall, taller than the irises and so on. So I gave it a nice drink of water, as you can see, and today is actually going to be hot. It's supposed to be, you know, 84 and humid today. So I will come back again tonight and give it another drink to reduce the shock from being inside the shop for November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months. And, you know, it's outside in the first time. So it will probably need a little bit more water this afternoon. All right, so next thing I have to go in the shop and get the urn for that pad and the urn for that pad, which is the entrance into the pool area. And here's the next one. I already cleaned up the bottom, but notice there's a branch of it coming off right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sharp shovel and I'm going to cut this right out, and then I'm going to put it in a bucket of water, and I would think in about a month it'll be ready to plant as another Dracaena spike. I mean, it's worth it. You know, they're expensive as well, and it'll give it a weird shape if I leave it that way, so I'd rather take it out. So actually, it has a good root system on its own. See, I just went in there and I separated it right off from the side. So rather than put it in a bucket of water, I think I'm going to put it in a pot with some dirt and keep it well watered. I got another plant, yay! And this is where he's going to spend his summer and hopefully a good part of the fall. So I have my thriller. Now I just need my filler and my spiller. So I'm going to give him a good watering as well. And then next would be same thing on that side. And here's the next one. And then look again here, there's a big piece right here. And I'm going to go in there with the spade and cut it off. And if you can see, last year, I'm trying to say, look, last year, there was this big one. See, I cut it off, and that's the one, the way it was growing, it was too big for me to dig out. So I cut it off, and I just sat it in a bucket of water for about a month. So let me get my spade. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right in here, and I'm going to push down and separate this. And I don't have my tripod today, so I can't show you me doing it because it'll be falling all over, but I'm just going to stick it right in there and separate it out. Alright, so it actually turned out to be an example of the other kind. I couldn't separate it. It was attached to the main stem. So what I did was I just snipped it off with a sharp pair of shears, and I'm going to put this in a bucket of water, and I'll try to keep track of it with you, and I'll show you how the roots begin to grow on that. So I just put it in a container of water, and I'll keep it over there in the sun, and hopefully it will begin to root. All right, next are my ferns. I have 2 Boston ferns in here and then 2 Virginia ferns, and they look absolutely a mess, so I have to clean each one of these up. So I'm going to start with the Boston fern first, and I'm going to remove all of this and anything that's dead, and then I'm going to put it, these do not like direct sunlight, so I have them in an area where it gets sunlight in the morning, and then most of the afternoon when it gets really hot and stuff, it is shaded. And what I'll do is every day I mist them, because you know these ferns usually grow in the forest at the base of trees. They like filtered light and like misty kind of a condition. All right, so I trimmed them out, kind of really, I went in hard, and I gave them a good drink of water first, and then I did a misting over all the fronds so that everything is wet, and it will definitely come back to give another dose of water to these 2 later on. Next up, this was an arrangement I got in Home Depot, and as you can see, the Diplodenia did not survive that I can see. I'm going to cut in here and see if there's any green. If there's not, it's coming out. And then the Virginia fern is really in bad shape, but I'm going to trim it out and hopefully it'll come back. There were 4 Diplodenia in here. 2 of them were gone, and these 2, this one right here and this one, you can see there's a little bit of signs of life in here. Look inside there. See there, there's a little bit of green. So I'm hoping it's going to come back. I really cut into this, and I'm going to give it a good water and then put it where it's supposed to be living, and hopefully it will come back. And I just have the other one to do now too. It's a mess. Next thing I did was I took that Dracaena that I took off, the one that had the roots on it already, and I put it in the middle of this pot. And I have 4 more Diplodenia here, and you can see they're beginning to bud. So it looks sad right now, but we'll see in a couple of weeks what that's going to look like. So we'll keep track of that. All right, so I'm on a roll. Here's another Dracaena, and I cleaned up the bottom, and there's 3 more Diplodenia that I have, and you see they're sprouting. So let's keep our fingers crossed on those. I pulled out my one and only geranium that survived over the winter, and he's looking pretty good. He's not long and stalky. He must have been just in the right spot, getting enough sun through the window of the shop. Here is some parsley that's left over from last year, and it's beginning to sprout. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as well. And here's my elephant ear. It didn't have a happy winter. It only has one leaf on it. Cleaning up the bottom. Remember that I just showed you that other geranium? It was just in the right place. This was absolutely in the wrong place. This is a geranium. Look how spiky this is. So I have to cut that all down so that it can grow correctly. And then there's 2 more diplodenia in here, 2 more, and they are budding. So I just have to clean this up. And lastly, I had this spike. It's like a Dracaena spike. It has a different name because it's burgundy. It looks brown right now because the more it stays in the sun, the more burgundy it will get. So it will pick up, and I had 3 more diplodenia there, and I also stuck some of that sedum in there in this pot. And then here, Marianne said this looks really sad. It does. But hopefully it'll bounce back more diplodenia here in this pot. And then up in that pot as well, more diplodenia. So thanks for stopping by today, and let's keep track of all of this stuff, and I'll show you how I'm going to nurture it back to full bloom. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.